Hey, folks, and welcome back. We have the final month of the 2027 season upon us, and we're just taking a look at the standings, seeing who's in the races. We're not. One of the worst records in the league again. We just fell off a table here in the last couple of months, unfortunately. Not the worst record in the National League, which is cool, but still nowhere near where we want to be. We have some close races. The American League, in the National League, especially at the top of those divisions. So, just kind of looking forward to those. You can stop and check, see if one of your favorite teams, or kind of just see what the scope of the landscape of the league is, and that's how we look as we start September here. We're going to move into this game against the Chicago White Sox as Bud Leonard has himself a complete game shutout rolling, and he's taking on the Chi Sox. And a good season for Leonard, his first full season here with us in the major leagues. I think he's been very, very, very solid overall, especially coming in with a lot of expectations, a lot of pressure to perform and perform very well. I don't think he'll be a Rookie of the Year winner, but I think he's had a very, very good season with the Colorado Rockies, and someone who is definitely going to be sticking in the rotation for a decent amount of time, a long time, hopefully. And overall this season, again, we kind of had the first 2 months of the year with some false hope that we could be something. I don't know, that sounds a little harsh even for my standards and for my humor level, but again, it's kind of how it felt. Like, it was not false. I mean, obviously false advertising in the first beginning, and then this is kind of what the team is. But we also got hurt. We also had guys be sent down. Don Rafaela was killing it this year. He was hurt for a month or two. Obviously, we haven't seen Nolan Jones really much since the All-Star break, and he had a down year to begin with. Jazz has been awesome, but he's cooled off. So we've had some down years for guys. We had some injury bugs. We didn't get the greatest look at our rotation. We traded away some of our better guys, so that record looks a little bit uglier down the stretch. But overall, I think a decent year, a building block year. And now the final batter of the day is Danny Jansen. He's going to pop this one up or fly this one out to center field, back at the track. Probably Montgomery back there, and he's going to put it away. Rockies win. Bud Leonard, 10 strikeouts in his complete game shutout. That is super cool, if you ask me. We're going to jump ahead here as now we are taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers towards the end of the month. We come into play 66-92. They are 82-76, still scrapping for a postseason berth. We are still looking to have one of our better years despite everything. This is one of the last 2 series of the season. As we took Game 1, lost Game 2, close though. The Colorado Rockies not getting the job done. Can't walk it off on the road, unfortunately. That's probably why we lost that close game at the end. We got Shane Bieber, a 3.14 ERA, a former Cy Young winner that we are having to go up against. So that's super cool and definitely fair and definitely awesome to see. That's for sure. Jazz Chisholm with a runner on first base is going to take on Bieber for the first time, and he is going to welcome him to the ball game. Big fly, Jazz Chisholm in the LA sky as we hit September. He goes yard yet again. That is home run number what? Tell me, screen. 33 for Big Jazz Chisholm. Definitely a huge free agent signing. I wouldn't say the best free agent signing, but probably Larry Walker. Larry Walker, get there. I'm going to look it up, and we're going to continue to call this game. How did Larry Walker get to the Colorado Rockies? Let's see. Let's check it out. But that home run, big home run by Jazz Chisholm. And we are on the board 2-0 on one hit. And that will do it here for the first inning. We got Marco Garcia going in 9 appearances for us, 9 starts, over 50 innings, so has exhausted his rookie eligibility. He's been okay, and I don't expect him to be the greatest, right? But he is going to do just fine for us, and I think he's going to be a very good player in the future. Shohei Ohtani watches that pitch go by, and Drew Romo is going to be gunning the runner off out on the base paths. Then Ohtani lifts this one to right field. Bean is under it, and that is going to do it for the inning. Through 1-0 with the Rockies in the lead. And yeah, it was a free agent signing. So I would probably venture to say Larry Walker's the best free agent signing for the Rockies. But when you win the World Series next year, it's going to be Jazz Chisholm. Don Rafaela finally hitting with us. He gets a double. And this one pops straight up. And no one's going to advance. So an unfortunate wasted out there by Drew Romo. As Bieber trying to get out of the jam without any more damage done to him. 2 on, both in scoring position. And, call on the outside part of the plate. That was outside of the strike zone. Sterling Thompson, unfortunately, goes down without any more runs coming across. Hey, old friend alert. Paul Goldschmidt. Did not think you were going to see Paul Goldschmidt today, but there you are. Marco Garcia says, sit down, old man. My time is now. And get some chasing outside the zone. We're ending 2. Still 2-0. Keel Fernandez is going to lift this one into right field. This is going to split the gap perfectly. A great pitch, but a better swing. And Yanquiel on second base with a 99-mile exit velo. Just the 16th two-bagger of the year, but up in perfect position for Ezequiel Tovar. He hits this ball very, very hard, but unfortunately directly at the center fielder, James Outman, and that is going to do it for the inning. No runs come across the score, still 2-0. The Dodgers trying to change that tune, and Garrett Hampson is going to be the unlikely hero to start things off. He puts one into the gap, and just the perfect angle for him to beat Bean, get it out, and go in there and score the run. Warming Burnable playing some first base today. Keeps a run off of the board diving like that. We'll see if it comes in handy here. But look at this. Shohei Ohtani spikes it down the line, but knocking it down and keeping that ball from going to the outfield is Burnable. Outman's going to let us know that that was a wasted effort and scores the run anyway. 2 runs in this inning for Garcia as James Outman gets this game tied back up at 2. Andy Pages is going to toss this one into center field. Ceddanne Rafaela out there tracking it down and coming away with it. 6 hits already for the Dodgers. The Achilles heel of Garcia giving up a lot of base hits, but just 2 runs on the day seems pretty decent. Bieber is going to get Burnable to bend the knee as he swings over the top of that curveball. Filthy. Bottom 4 now. Some more traffic on the base paths. Jazz is going to let that one drop. Going to go for the highlight play, but that ball way off the line. And RBI base hit for former Rocky Connor Joe getting some revenge. Hampson back up, and he's going to look at strike 3. A ill-placed slider, but a strikeout nonetheless. Just the second for Marco in this one. Trying to keep the Dodgers off the board. He can't. Miguel Vargas hugs that line and dumps it into the corner. 1 run will score. Behind him is the other. And he will go at it, even though a close play at the plate. That was Connor Joe. And Vargas, his 28th double results in 2 runs for the Dodgers. Watch this. Just onto the left side of that chalk. And unfortunately, 2 runs for the Dodgers. It's 5-2 now, and Shohei is going to pop this one straight up. Bean is under it. That will do it for the inning. But a rough 4th for Garcia. Gives up 3 runs, and 2 of them coming from Miguel Vargas down the line. And 10 hits already. Again, those hits piling up. A clean inning until Matt Vierling came out here and got a double. Opposite field, mind you, and he will be up standing on second base with 2 outs here in the inning as the Dodgers try to add on to their lead, his 28th as well. Something that I really want to do for our team is get more doubles on the roster. I think we should be taking advantage of that. We get some twin barrel action going as in the bottom of the 5th, we're wondering if Garcia has the juice left. We'll get out on the next pitch to end the inning, but this might do it for Garcia. We see how we feel later on. Top 6 now. Yanquiel Fernandez gets a hanging slider. This is hit very, very far. Looking up his outman. That one's gone. Bailey Falter in the game now, and he is greeted quite rudely by Yanquiel. It is your bad leaving a slider there. 27 home runs, almost twice as many than he does have doubles. And he smoked this one. You don't make mistakes to Yanquiel Fernandez anywhere. And he puts that one deep center field. We do bring in Ryan Justice. He gets a strikeout to end things here in the 5th inning. And that will do it, or the 6th inning, excuse me. So the bullpen getting to work and getting a big strikeout to keep this game a 2-run game. Justice still out there. Slide step worked perfectly as Romo guns out his 2nd runner of the game. And that's James Outman this time. Now working on Andy Pages. Next pitch is up and away. Justice working on his 2nd inning of relief. Trying to get out of it, and he will. Rafaela, great center fielder, under it, and puts it away for the 3rd out. And 7. Has 2 more chances to get 2 more runs. The Rockies need to add more than just their 3 runs and 6 hits on offense. Amador, Chisholm, and Fernandez do up. They don't do a whole bunch. A couple of guys get on base, but Zach Veen drops that 12-6 curveball right back into the dirt, pops it up, or bounces it off the dirt, and can't get anybody home. Another Paul Goldschmidt bat, I guess, ending in a strikeout. Connor Joe ends in a strikeout. And Jeff Criswell, one of the underrated guys we've called up. He's been killing it in AAA this year. We gave him a chance. He's done very, 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 very well for us. Gets 2 strikeouts on 2 former Rockies. Going to give way to JoJo Romero, trying to shut things down here. We're so used to Kenley Jansen coming through those doors, but over the last few years, he made way for a plethora of different closers. Evan Phillips and now JoJo Romero being a couple of them. A single for Warming Bernabel, so we're not going down quietly here in the 9th inning, just like we haven't gone quietly all year. Vargas, incredible play to keep that ball from the outfield, robbing Rafaela of a hit. However, we do get the runner over to 2nd base. Sterling Thompson is going to watch that one fall as I drop my glasses, and I couldn't believe it. Getting your bat off the shoulders, young fella. That was a strike. We're not going to give him the free pass like we did his other looking strike. That will do it. Rockies unable to mount a great comeback here at the end, but it is what it is. 5-3, the Dodgers win. They also win the series 2-1. Chisholm a home run, Yanquiel Fernandez a home run, and we'll look through the box score in just a moment. Sterling Thompson 0 for 5, 3 strikeouts at the top of the lineup. No bueno, sir. Yanquiel 3 hits, including that solo blast, and Warning Bernabel 2 hits as well. Garcia 5 2/3, 5 runs given up. Hampson Vargas multiple hits, and then Outman 3 hits for him. 6 strikeouts total and 14 hits for the Dodgers. 2 caught stealings, and Bieber went 5, gave up only 2, and a pretty great job by the bullpen after him. And now we're going to move to the final day of the season, the final game of the season. It is against those Cincinnati Reds, a little rivalry. As, again, you have the Bobby White versus the Sherwood-Winchester rivalry. We won't be able to see it here today as Bobby White went last night. And we are looking to end the series, end the season on a high note against those dreaded Reds. Lost game 1 by 1 run, then doubled them up in game 2. And Chase Dollander, he's had his ups, he's had his downs. We saw him be dominant in Houston last month, and now he's trying to finish it off here on a strong note. Ellie De La Cruz is going to walk to begin the game. Not a strong note to begin things here in Colorado. 2 outs, though, however, and Max Clark goes down swinging on a beautiful pitch. and Dollander gets out of it. One runner aboard on the walk, and that's just about it. Amador, Bernabel, and Tovar are your top three on game 162. We got Andrew Abbott, a lefty. We've killed him in the past. 3.34 ERA, a 1.31 whip. 22% of the time, he will strike your ass out. And Tovar has really had success against him in the past, and it continues here. 103 exit velo to get the first runner of the day on for Tovar, hitting in that 3 spot. Domine also does very well against lefties. We'll see what he has in store for Abbott. Pitch is delivered, and the pitch is sent to right field, and just a couple of steps over, I believe that's Will Benson going to put things away. It is Will Benson. Look at me knowing my Cincinnati Reds. Top 2, TJ Friedl is going to go very deep into center field. Rafaela ranging back and making the catch against the wall. We've had some great center field defense, and that's why I was so keen on bringing Doyle down when I did. We still had Ceddanne Rafaela playing a good center field. Benny Montgomery has been a tremendous center fielder for us this year, so I don't think we were sacrificing too much defense. And that might spell the end of Brenton Doyle. It really could. At some point this season. Strikeout for Dollander, his second against Cody Chalifoux, and he gets him going down. Top 3, still haven't seen much offensive Rocky highlights, but we're going to see Dollander strike out some dudes. Already moving into the 4th inning as we're moving right along here. A pitcher's duel brewing, and that's going to be a double for Spencer Steer, one of the more underrated bats in all of the league. He hits lefties like they stole something from him. And he also just is an overall incredible hitter. Strikeout on Max Clark, his second one. This one, a changeup basically right down the dick that he didn't even take the bat off his shoulders from, which was crazy. This ball hit over the head of Bernabel, and Chisholm, again, not the most accurate arm, does have the strength, but the first run comes off of TJ Friedl's single over the head of Bernabel. Hit decently well. And the 4th here, a Christian Encarnacion Strand fly out to Ceddanne Rafaela. TJ Friedl gets things started here in the 4th inning. We'll see how the Rockies bats respond as we get deeper into this ballgame. Bottom 5 now as Yanquiel Fernandez lays into this 12-6 that was left over the plate. And about 6 inches from being a tie game, he will settle for a headfirst slide into second base, extra base hit, 17th of the season for Yanquiel. A double to Domine and Amador fired up about that. Zach Veen chops it into the dust, and that will bring in the run as getting over to third base eventually was Yanquiel. And a single right back up the middle for Zach Veen. He's really had a really good year, especially later in the season. So maybe this one carries him into 2028. I sure hope it does. But we'll just have to see, I guess. Ariel Amador 0 for 2 so far, and this one stung. And on his horse is Veen. This will drop down, and lucky for the Reds, that popped over the wall, the 30-second double for Amador. But that had a run written all over it. And with that pop-up, they're going to walk Bernabel and load the bases for Tovar, who A, hits lefties great, and B, does well with runners in scoring position. So now he's facing off a lefty with runners in scoring position. This could be break this game wide open. Pitch right down the middle, or towards the bottom part of the zone, but unfortunately hangs up just enough for the left fielder to get it. That's Friedl, and that will do it. 1 run scores on the Veen single, but some damage done by the Rockies. They might have figured out Abbott here. Ellie De La Cruz walked in the 1st inning, strikes out here in the top of the 6th. The 5th K by Dollander today, a backdoor slider. And look at this baby, just cut right back in. Good swing by Ellie, but just way too far out in front as he recognized it was going back into the zone. Benson's challenged with the fastball at 96. He can't catch up to it. That's just too filthy for you. Cam on this fastball. Whoop. Just rose a little bit, actually a little bit ahead of it even. I don't know what he was looking for. Jazz Chisholm is going to ground it over to Strand, Encarnacion Strand, that is. And it's going to be a double play victim as the Reds turn it 3-6-1 style. Alex Hardesty now in the game in the 7th inning. Chisholm's going to dive for it and is going to come up empty-handed. Friedel can run. Raphael picks up on the track as he hits second base, and he's going to stay up with a triple to start things off here in the 7th. Hardesty trying to get out of this little jam. We've liked what he's seen a little bit since moving him back to the bullpen, with Dollander coming back up, taking up that rotation spot, but he has been a little iffy. We got a swing and a miss, and here it is just an unfortunate placement. Tommy Edman, who is leading the world in doubles, adds to this total. I think this is up near 50, if not over 50, if I'm correct. It's 47. Yeah, he is hitting the ball very, very well. Sherwood Winchester sighting. What is up, big fella? Future Rocky, maybe? Hint, hint. That is bashed into the bullpen netting, and that is going to be an RBI double for Winchester, 3-1. And finally getting out of the inning is Hardesty as Cody Chalifoux flies out to Raphael to end the inning. 2 runs for the Reds. It's a 3-1 ball game. Cincinnati doing damage against Colorado in the 7th. Amador, a good chance to take the lead. Unfortunately, he grounds into a 6-4-3 double play. Does move a runner up to third base, but it's going to be Sterling Thompson we're going to call on from on the bench to replace Warming Burnable with the righty on. We really want to see this run come in. Taylor Clark is the pitcher. First pitch let go. It is going to be a strike for Thompson. Thompson doing decently well here with the bat. The 700-plus OPS, you'll take that from a guy in his first real true long-time big league action. And just behind that fastball at 98 miles per hour. And that will do it for the 7th inning. Still some work to do for the Colorado Rockies as the Reds go out there and try to add on. Thompson stays in the game at third base, and Ellie De La Cruz leaves the building with an absolute blast. Ellie De La Cruz, cruise missile incoming. 431 on the distance, 104.6 on the exit velo for all my nerds out there. And look at Ellie, just be very good at baseball. He is very good at baseball and just way better than anyone we got. Jazz Chisholm going to try to put a fork in it, and unfortunately going to put a fork in our season. And strikes out swinging on the high cheese, as they say in the rat community. 4-1 still. Drew Romo, our last hope. Alexis Diaz they brought in to shut the door, and shut the door he will. Season over. Drew Romo on your trivia cards for the last swing. Look at Michael Tolia celebrating. We got rid of Tolia. We gave him to the Reds and did not get in this game, but is going to definitely celebrate like he did as he's sticking one to his former employer for sure. So that will do it here for the season. Rockies finish things off at 67-95. We're going to have stats for the minor leagues coming up. We're going to have stats for the major leagues coming up and kind of looking at the awards as well. Here's who did what. Sherwood Winchester, that 1 hit. We're going to remember it. Friedel with 2 hits and Edmund with 2 hits as well. Abbott pitched very, very solidly in the bullpen through blanks the whole rest of the day. Young Keel Fernandez, 2 hits. And Zach Bean, 2 hits. 2 lefties who don't really do well against lefties, having the best day against lefties. Who would have thought? That's a conundrum in and of itself. Dollander pitched well. Hardesty did not. Now we're looking at the statistics for Double-A first. First note, Leland Metzger was hurt all year, but was great when he did get a chance to play. Had a great season last year, unfortunately. Couldn't follow it up, just was hurt all year, didn't get his footing under him. Estrada swung the ball well in limited time, a guy that we traded for and we think has really good high impact in terms of making contact on pitches, so he did really well. David Howard provided power all year and was a very, 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 very good player for us. Just hitting the ball all over the place. OPS was high. He hit a bunch of home runs. He just did a damn thing. Max Wagner, a step back from last year, but solid still. Still, we're going to play him in AAA next year to try to elevate his level of competition. We tried to do that this year, and he was just not hitting AAA at all. So brought him back to AA. He did well, but not as good as last year's breakout. But either way, I think we had a solid year from Max Wagner. Tyrone Gehringer, excellent again this year. He did get hurt at the end of the year, however, and it's not far before we just throw him in AAA because he is figuring out AA, and he's figured it out very, very, very good. Osiris Johnson, he can't figure it out, man, and we're going to keep him around, I guess, just because of his versatility. If he's minor league depth and that's all he is, then someone has to play that role, right? It is important, but just wasn't doing it for us this year. Christian Nam also not ready. He played due to a bevy of injuries, but the time's ticking out on Christian Nam. He's going to be Rule 5 eligible soon. I don't know. I think we might be able to get away with having him on that list for a year or two, but not for too much longer. I don't know how ready he is. On the pitching side, Rafael Parra, excellent all year. Montanez did great in his first pro action as well. Charlie Soto bounced back here. Did not have the greatest year last year, playing as our primary closer, which is a different role that we envisioned him having, but a role for him nonetheless. Most of our top prospects shoved, which is what you really love to see. You love when those guys you draft and have high expectations meet those expectations, at least relative to where they are and where they should be, right? And they shoved all year, and I love to see that. You know, almost a 5-war season for Parra, which was awesome to see. So we got really good development from our pitchers, and it's a really good year to be a pitcher in our system. Brendan Barrera, he just did not have a good year this year. The clock's running out on him as well. One of our, not our older guys, but definitely in that more third echelon. You have the ace guys that we have, the contributors / major trade piece, and you have this other realm of guys who could probably just max out his bullpen arms first at a time, but he is not having a great year. Didn't have a great showing with us last year either. In AAA, Heriberto Hernandez could be pushing for Major League time next year. He had a tremendous season. A lot of solid seasons, but not too many extraordinary ones. There's no one that really, other than Heriberto, that stood out, that jumped out. But no one else really had like a wow moment other than him, right? Khalil Watson played well for the first time in years, just has yet to figure it out, but this year had a very solid year, and we would hope he can string a few more of those together. That would be fantastic. Gary Jr. lit it up in AA, but not so much in AAA. We did advance him after having a tremendous season, finishing basically in the top 5 of all the important offensive categories. He was great. Moving up AAA, maybe a little too advanced for him right now, but it is what it is, right? Pitchers pitched, that's for sure. We had pitchers that pitched, and they pitched AAA at times, and that was a thing, right? JJ Rose ended up making it AAA. His numbers weren't great, but his FIP was way better than his numbers would show. So for all our nerds out there, don't worry, don't fret over that ERA or whatever. The FIP was a lot better. Had multiple guys come up and down. Really, the AAA is more of a station for guys who, like, if you're a top prospect, you're probably in AA, unless we have a surplus and we have to move people out. But right now, that's where a lot of our top prospects live. AAA has always been for the older guys, the depth guys. We'll throw in AAA just to get reps because they're that old. But that is what it is, and that is our minor league rundown for this season. Finally, we've got to the major league statistics, and here are just some notables and some things that I saw this season. First off, Jazz Chisholm was fantastic. 33 home runs, 75 RBI. Played almost every single game for us this year. OPS was great. Had really matched his career. Actually kind of fell off towards the end a little bit, but had a career high in home runs, almost a career high in RBI, almost a career high in walks. Cut down on his strikeouts from 2 seasons ago where he hit 274 and had an 827 OPS. Of the last 3 years, his weakest OPS, but not by too much. But he was on fire, especially at the beginning of the season. He was the reason people were coming to the ballpark. Nolan Jones had a very poor year for his standards, but still was. He's gonna be fine. He was hurt for a lot of this year. play 100 games for the first time since coming to Colorado in 2023. Still managed 17 home runs, still almost matched his double total from the previous few years in about 50 less games. So he was slugging a decent amount, even hitting 240, still an OPS at 772. We expect a big bounce back from Nolan as always. Ceddanne Rafaela played well when he was playing, ended up taking that center field job per usual. The one thing about this team is we had a lot of okay seasons. Like if you look at our team OPS by our notables, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players had an OPS over 700, but just one with an OPS over 800. So what we're really looking for in the future is who can come and provide a great season. Again, we expect Nolan Jones to return to a 900 plus OPS guy, which he's been for basically the whole time I've been here. We've been asking him to be a 6+ WAR player, which he was the last 2 seasons. Even with a down year, was still good for 2.5 WAR when you add his defense along with his power. So that we're looking for someone more like that. On the WAR side of things, how did we stack up? Ezekiel Tovar 4.6 WAR. Again, price going up on him. Jazz Chisholm 4 WAR. Adele Amador was very positive. Rafaela was great. In terms of negative WAR, it was not much. Again, Doyle kind of lost his job. His future up for debate. Willie McIver and Jordan Beck didn't really play too much. So for our regulars, we had great years from everybody. You know, Sterling Thompson, limited action, almost 2 WAR. Like, again, this is solid. I think we have a great foundation. However, we're still looking for that one guy to come out and really change the trajectory of this team. Some other stats I like to look at. K percentage. Doyle striking out way too much. Nolan Jones strikes out a good amount, but he has 11 walk rate, so that's pretty good. Rafaela and Romo need to cut down the walks, but you can live in the 20s, especially when you have multiple guys walking about 8%. You really the top walkers in the league are about this 11 plus, but this number right here, these 2 numbers by Sterling Thompson are really great. Chisholm did strike out a good amount, but did walk a good amount as well. Benny Montgomery in limited time looked decent as well, so we're going to have some good battles when it comes to the corner outfield this year. Home runs, let's just check them. Chisholm with 33, Yanquiel Fernandez 27, Ezekiel Tovar 24. He had a down year, especially compared to his last season where he was an animal, and the year before that where he bounced back from a dreadful 2024. Bean had a great year as well, a career year. Played in 16 less games in 2025, yet put up just about the same amount of runs and hits, more home runs, more RBI, did walk a little bit less and strike out a little bit less, but everything, all his rate stats were up, and this could be the year before a big breakout for Zach Bean, which we're counting on. Adele Amador had a decent season, a career high in home runs for him, almost a career, kind of matched his doubles output from last year. Career high in hits, career high in walks, struck out less in 10 extra games, and his rate stats were very similar to for last year. A little bit less in the slugging, a little bit more in the on-base department. Tommy Domine in his first season with us, he had a decent year in just 70 games. Again, still yet to hit over 300 at-bats for him. He kind of slowed down when it came to us, but he's going to be just fine. And Drew Romo, a down year offensively, but again, we're not really asking for great offense for him, but it is a little bit tricky that his offensive output has been going a little bit down, ups and downs, but 120 games, you get 10 home runs, 10 doubles, and again, still a positive WAR. This year, not as much. Last year was a 2 WAR. This year, strikeout percentage went way up. Walk percentage stayed about the same. The defense is still pretty good, but that's what happens when you hit, when these numbers are so drastic. You're going to get that 2 WAR, basically the difference between last year and this year. Pitching wise, Jesus Luzardo was a great get for us. Let's first look at this through FIP, one of the best indicators of who was great, who was not. JJ Rose, why are you here? Now we'll do it by innings pitch. We'll go like that. Jesus Luzardo, workhorse for us, started every single game, 12 wins on his season, 151 strikeouts, 196 innings pitched, a 3.75 ERA. WARs at 3.4. Ks per 9 were down, but his walks were also down. Only gave up 1 home run, and FIP at 3.64. Bud Leonard had an okay rookie season. 200 plus strikeouts for a rookie. I think that's great. His K per 9s was top on the team, especially for starters. Got a WAR about 1. A 4.38 ERA for your first go around in big league ball. I think we will take that. Bobby White, a big bounce back from last year. Last year in his limited innings, just about 50 innings. So just did break the rookie eligibility last season. Got hit pretty hard. The home run still a little bit of a concern. This last year, his home runs per 9 was almost at 3. This year, he cut it in half. You see that FIP cut all the way down. The WAR completely flipped. The Ks per 9 stayed about the same. The walks per 9, actually both of those are worse than last year, but just 15 quality. Just was better. We kept him in the rotation all year, and he's proven out to be decent. Chase Dollander beginning of the year was awful. Went down to AAA, got his stuff better. So this 5.10 ERA, 90 strikeouts and 107 innings pitched, a 5.22 FIP. It looked a lot worse. So we're still looking at those walks per 9 numbers. We have a couple of guys that are in that 3 to 4 range. We want them down in that 3 to 2 range, kind of where Jesus is. Obviously, we don't want to walk guys. We don't want to give free bases. Just with the nature of our ballpark, we're going to give up some home runs. In pitching-wise this year, we were pretty much average, if not pretty good, in just about every pitching statistic you would want. The one that we just were trailing in were home runs per 9. Or home runs given up, because of just the ballpark that we play in. Simple as that. Riley Pint, decent on the bullpen. Marco Garcia in limited action. He broke rookie eligibility. He was fine. Again, these are pretty good numbers, and we have a great nucleus, and they're finally starting to sprout up. Hardesty got hit pretty hard. 8.16 ERA, lost 8 games in 23 appearances. Did get 2 starts before moving to the bullpen. He just got picked on. He wasn't really ready. It was just a matter of we were fire sailing. We didn't really have anyone else, and we kind of forced him up a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see what we do with him and whether he's able to be ready and challenge for a spot. Trey Jameson was all right, a negative WAR. But really look at what he did. 28 saves, 8 blown. So this is a number that makes you say, okay, maybe he isn't that closer we thought he was. We'd be looking to see if we can get somebody in the back of that bullpen that can challenge Jameson there, because he has lost us about 20 games in the last 2 years almost. And even, you're not going to convert them all, but even if he just flips that tune, he should be fine. Vinny Garcia, the FIP does not love where his ERA is at. It does not compute, but again, we fire sailed a lot of our relief pitchers, so really the starting rotation is only one where we're looking at, and I think they were actually pretty good, all things considered. Checking out league leaders as we scroll through. Batting title is going to go to Juan Soto. Some notables: Rockies, Amador and at bats. That just shows how committed he was all season. Jazz Chisholm in the top 8, top 10 in home runs. Did not get a top 8 in stolen bases or walks. Again, I think Nolan Jones, who had some pretty good results last year, would have been in there if he played the full season. Evan Phillips, the save king. Justin Steele, his second ERA title. I think he had one a few years ago. Sandy Alcantara and Spencer Strider are going to be duking it out for the Cy Young. Who's going to get it, we'll see in just a moment. And the pitching WAR leader is going to be Steele, followed by Strider, Webb, Gallen, and Harrison. Surprising Sandy Alcantara is that much different in WAR, considering the season he had. 20 wins, which I get doesn't really compute, but look at those innings pitched. An absolute workhorse. 180 strikeouts to go along with a 2.56 ERA. So I don't know how that equates to 4 WAR, but I would probably he had 9 complete games as well, just an absolute stud. So he could be a guy that's definitely pushing for Strider around that. Cy Young. Batting WAR leader goes to Dansby Swanson, the most valuable player in the National League. Mookie Betts right behind him. Again, should have been a Red Sox, but I guess he's a Dodger. Dodgers did actually not make the playoffs this year, which is very interesting. And Corbin Carroll follows behind there. I think our top guy was Jazz at a 4-something WAR. And we were well behind the league leaders there. In the American League, Yordan Alvarez and the Rangers were just bullying everybody. Yordan Alvarez leads in hits, batting average. Let's see, he did not lead in home runs, but he did not lead in RBI. So Corey Seager, 57 home runs, 56 for Yordan, 47. Look at this, just Rangers and Yordan Alvarez. Gunnar Henderson also a freak, but yeah, those two teams are going to be fun to see how they do in the playoffs. Just keeping it moving. Bobby Witt led stolen bases. Nolan Schanuel walking like a boss. 1,100 OPS for Yordan Alvarez. Pitching-wise, some good pitching leaders in terms of wins. Edwin Diaz making that midseason move back to Seattle, comes second in saves. Blake Snell in Kansas City holding it down on the strikeouts department. Brian Bayo, shout out Bayo, at a sub-1 whip. Drew Rasmussen with the pitching WAR leader. George Kirby, Tarek Skubal right behind him. And Evan Carter, 8.9 WAR. Yordan, 8.8, 8.7 for Seager, 8.3 for Henderson, and 8 flat for Mike Trout. Adley Rutschman with a 7 WAR. We had 5 guys with 8 WAR in the American League. These award races are going to be very fun. We'll go through the National League, then the American League. Matt Olson, your MVP, with 47 home runs, 123 RBI, and a 303 batting average. No love for Dansby Swanson, besides, opposed to him finishing top in WAR, the voters went Olson. Strider and Alcantara come 1-2 in the Cy Young race, and the 236 strikeouts for Strider edge out Alcantara back-to-back for Spencer in the Cy Young. Juan Soto with the Brewers, the batting title. Evan Phillips, the reliever of the year. Louis Harrington, the first baseman that we almost drafted. He's going to win Rookie of the Year. Played all 162 games, 21 home runs, 32 doubles, OPS to spout over 770. He was a very well-deserving guy for the Rookie of the Year. Hank Aaron goes to Matt Olson, and we'll scroll through the Gold Gloves, see if any one of our guys are in it. Amador was a finalist last year. Tovar is going to win the award for the second time in his career. Chisholm, a Gold Glove in left field as well. So 2 Gold Glovers for the best defense in the National League. Here are the Silver Sluggers for the National League as well. Ellie De La Cruz hit his 31st home run against us on the last day of the season. And no representatives for the Rockies. MVP is Yordan Alvarez, 359 batting average, 56 home runs, 136 RBI. I mean, that's like Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth numbers. He's doing that in 2027 here. Logan Gilbert's going to win the Cy Young, beating out Rasmussen and Kirby. These guys were all near the top of the pitching WAR leaderboards, so that kind of does a really good job at representing itself nicely. Probably Rasmussen has the best case out of all these 3, but I guess they're going to go to Logan Gilbert on that. Batting title goes to Yordan Alvarez. Edwin Diaz, reliever of the year, with an 0.59 ERA and 48 saves. Cole Winn, your Rookie of the Year for the Rangers. And again, the Rangers are going to be represented in just about every single award here. 2 Rangers in the Hank Aaron Award. And here is the Gold Glove winners. Josh Young there. Bobby Witt and Ryan Mountcastle get it for the Royals. And Josh Lowe for the Braves gets it in right field. C.J. Abrams, a guy whose career high was 21 home runs, finished with 39 this year. He was an absolute stud. 36 stolen bases, so a 35-35 season for C.J. Abrams, flirted with 40-40, and one of the premier power speed threats in the game. Wyatt Langford behind him. And as Adley Rutschman not winning it over Yanier Diaz. If we look at their OPSs, 814 to 940. I would have gone Rutschman there, even though Diaz had 10 more home runs, but it is what it is. Horner flipping Chicago teams. Again, look at this third baseman race in the AL East. And also have to add that Rafael Devers is in that division as well. It's one of probably the best division for third baseman in the league. So more Rangers winning awards, and who would have guessed it. So that will do it here for the end of the season. Next, we're going to go through the offseason. We're going to see how we can make this team better. 67-94 to end the year, a 4-win improvement from last year and our best season to date, but that's still not good enough. 30 games below 500 is not good enough. That can't be our best season we've had in 4 years. It's almost playoff or bust next year, and that's what we're going to be going into that offseason with. So we'll see you next time. Go Rockies.